Danny?
Oh, I'm going Florida State. I mean, it's no brainer. It's hands down. But if there was a second, I'd go Carolina.
See,
I
Tom
like
and I have a
Carolina
theory.
too, the Argyle. I do like
Soft.
the helmets and the different versions. Well, here's what I'll say. And this kind of goes against the UCLA take in the Ole Miss. For whatever reason, whenever we played them, it just looks soft.
Oh, it's because we look soft. Okay, huddle up.
You don't want none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ, the Tar Heel. And in this huddle, baby, we're going to be discussing the semi-controversial topic of whether or not the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill's color scheme is in any way, shape, or form complicit in the lack of success on the football field, right? And what I mean by that is, it's no secret that UNC has the brand, the history, the following, etc., that many have said are the proper ingredients to becoming an athletic juggernaut. And we've seen UNC dominate nationally, as it has the 8th most national championships, team national championships in the entire nation, with 50 on the dot. Carolina has 52 individual national championships as well, which also makes them 8th in the country, and that's according to Wikipedia. So why does that seemingly not transition over to football, if you will? Well, we know that football is arguably the roughest team sport that we watch. I guess you could possibly argue hockey, but I would say that still pales in comparison to the collisions that we see on the football field. It's a game that's played by alpha males, right? The goal is to assert your dominance over the man in front of you. We're going to move this stinking football down your throat, and in turn, you aren't going to stinking be able to gain an inch, or at least that's how the game is supposed to be played. But as I stumbled upon this On3 segment that was supposed to be something as, pedestrian, minute, if you will, as who has the best uniforms in the Atlantic Coast Conference, a jab was thrown at my team, the University of North Carolina. So I felt compelled to throw a straight right back, right? Little counterpunch. So let's listen real quick to what these fine gentlemen have to say about the Heels and Carolina Blue.
What about the ACC, Tom?
For me,
This is easy.
gee, I wonder who Danny's going to pick.
I mean, who else had Burt Reynolds design them? Come on.
I know. If only they were just plain leather vests, sleeveless. Nothing else. I have always been really impartial to Virginia Tech. I feel like in my brain those colors shouldn't work, but I think it's the rarity of that color scheme, and they actually do work together. So for me, I've always really liked the Hokies uniforms, the home ones, and I like when they go all white too. Those are pretty cool too. But I just love the classic home look.
Danny?
Oh, I'm going Florida State. I mean, it's no brainer. It's hands down. But if there was a second, I'd go Carolina.
See,
I
Tom
like
and I have a
Carolina
theory.
too, the Argyle. I do like
Soft.
the helmets and the different versions. Well, here's what I'll say. And this kind of goes against the UCLA take in the Ole Miss. For whatever reason, whenever we played them, it just looks soft.
Mm-hmm. Tom has believed literally for more than a decade that what is actually keeping North Carolina from accomplishing whatever the most hardcore football fans believe North Carolina can accomplish is the fact that opponents are not intimidated by a beautiful day in Chapel Hill against a bunch of guys in literally baby blue uniforms.
You got the crowd's filled with dudes in baby blue with Argyle socks and sweaters tied around their necks. Nobody's scared of that. You're going in there like, oh my God, we're going to beat this team by 50. Like Wake Forest is walking in there like, we are going to dog walk these guys.
And we'll stop it right there as they go on to talk about Pitt and they bring up Lawrence Taylor and how no one was scared of LT back in college. I guess it's because he was wearing that stinking soft Carolina blue. Didn't matter that he was drafted 2nd overall, right? But even before that, the guy that's draped in Illini gear is talking about teams not respecting Carolina because Carolina blue is, the word he used, soft. How teams think when they walk into Chapel Hill that they're just going to come in and they're going to walk them by 40 or 50 or whatever the heck he said. It's funny that North Carolina is 4-0 all time against the Fighting Illini, the rough and tough orange and navy blue, right? And this guy is sitting here talking about how soft Carolina blue is, how unintimidating it is, how that's the reason why Carolina hasn't awakened from its slumber, because Carolina blue is soft. I guess having your ass handed to you by guys in what he says Argyle sweaters and socks must really do something to your masculinity, bro. So the question once again is this: is Carolina's color scheme the reason why they haven't been more successful in football? Is it soft? Does it not strike fear in the opponent? Or does that even stinking matter? Well, let me give you my opinion. The color scheme is irrelevant. The mindset of the kid under all of that is the only thing that matters. Did the color scheme stop Carolina from having some of the best defenses in the history of the Atlantic Coast Conference in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s with Julius Peppers, Greg Ellis, Vonnie Holiday, Brian Simmons, Dre Bly? I mean, imagine somebody walking up to JP back in 2000, 2001 and telling him how soft he looked. It's absolutely stinking ridiculous. Was Algie Crumpler soft? Jonathan Linton, Omar Brown, Robert Williams, Gerald Sensabaugh? How about Robert Quinn, E.J. Wilson, Marvin Austin, Quentin Cobles, Bruce Carter, and Quan Sturdivant? You remember those guys? The linebackers? There was nothing that looked soft about those dudes. Not one stinking thing. Trey Boston. How about Denoris Searcy? Does Denoris Searcy look soft in Carolina blue? There's nothing soft about the way Elijah Hood ran the football. Mac Hollins, he's soft? Okay. Charlie Heck, Landon Turner, Cole Holcomb, Andre Smith, Aaron Crawford. Did Javonte Williams look soft as he absolutely brutalized the Canes at Hard Rock back in 2020? I mean, come on, man. Like, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. What other university in the entire country has a color named after them? And people love to hate on the heels because of that very simple fact right there. It's envy. That's what it is. That dude in his stinking navy and orange with his Illini gear, you're envious, bro. You're envious. That's what it is, man. And people love to say, oh, it looks soft. That's the reason why Carolina's not better. Get the heck out of here, bro. And then when you're starting to talk about what are the best uniforms in the Atlantic Coast Conference, you come out and say Virginia Tech. That's your number one in the ACC? Seriously? We're not talking about the most enthusiastic fan base to watch their team go 500. That wasn't the stinking question, bud. The question was, what are the three best uniforms in the Atlantic Coast Conference? The Hokies purple, or whatever color that is, the purple tops, those are stinking terrible. Yeah, okay, the whites are decent. Now, the all-orange ones, the ones that they came out to in 2021 when they beat Carolina 17-10 to start the season, man, those are clean. Those are clean. But this guy's talking about the purple tops, the purple and orange. Dude, get the heck out of here, man. Not even close. standing up next to the Heels. And rule of thumb, Mr. Illini guy, when your team hasn't beaten a certain team on the gridiron, it's probably not wise to call them or their look soft. That's just, common knowledge if you ask me. So is it the Carolina Blue that's preventing the Heels from becoming a football juggernaut like these guys said? Not even in the slightest, man. There are so many other variables at play here. And saying it's the color is about the most junior varsity take you could have. So in my opinion, and maybe I'm slightly biased, what are the 3 best unis in the Atlantic Coast Conference? Well, I'm going to say it's UNC number 1 with the blue helmet, the blue top, the white pants. Hard. You say that looks soft. Nah, hard. What's number 2? Florida State, man. Gold top, maroon jerseys with the gold bottoms. It looks great. It looks stinking great. Florida State has got a great looking uniform. And then as I try to go through and find out what is my number 3, on a whim, I'm going to give it to Virginia Tech's all orange, man. Pretty clean looking uniforms. And just for giggles, what are the worst 3? Well, I'm going to say number 3, right, all the way down to the worst one, Virginia. It's boring. Number 2, Duke. It's also boring. And number 1, Georgia Tech. I mean, it's real hard to work with urine and white as your color scheme. And no, that has nothing to do with the product on the field. So, Carolina has not lacked success because their color or their look is soft. That's ridiculous. Let me know what you think down in the comment section, Tar Heel Nation, and we'll catch you on the next one, baby.
I'm a Tar Heel!